So this is Dan of Vagabond Awake. Today we have the fortune of having Shannon Amos as a guest star on the channel. I'm traveling in Mexico now, as you know, and I ran into Shannon on the beach in Mexico, and she was a fascinating person, has a fascinating story. And so I invited her on my channel, and she's agreed to come here today. She's a mindfulness expert. She's a slow traveler, as you know I talk about all the time. She's also, she's an international speaker. She's a producer, an entrepreneur, and she's the founder of Sumana. And she'll tell us more about that later if we can get her to talk about that also. And so the reason I was fascinated about Shannon, as I said, is she said she is a slow traveler also. And so I wanted to bring her on the channel and let her share her story with you. Welcome aboard, Shannon.
Thanks, Dan. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you.
Great. So it was fortunate to meet you. It was a nice chat we had, and I just thought my audience would like to meet you also. So what does slow travel mean to you, Shannon?
You know, for me, it just means that you really have an opportunity to spend enough time in a location where you could connect with the locals, start to really learn the culture, and really experience more of the sort of off the beaten path part of traveling. And so it really is having time to really connect with the people and the places and take it all in.
And what was your kickoff, would you say? What was the motivation to travel in this way?
Well, for me, in 2016, when I first started my journey, my mom had transitioned. Well, December 2016, she transitioned after a long illness and after caregiving. And I remember saying to her, "Mom, do you have any regrets?" And she said her only regret was that she didn't get to travel and see the world. And so I said, "What if I took your ashes and I traveled the world with your ashes?" And her eyes lit up and she was so happy. And she said, "Shannon, go see the world and let the world see you." And I thought, wow, that's so profound. To me, it meant really connect with people and meet them where they are. So I knew that I'd have to take my time, and that's what I did.
Wow, that's very touching. It chokes me up a little bit, to be honest with you. And what is your home country?
My home country is the U.S. I'm from Los Angeles, California, okay. And my slow travel journey began in Bali, Indonesia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's not a bad start.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as other Americans, we all know that you're American because of your accent. You have what I call a radio voice, so no, people from America aren't going to mistake where you're from, probably in many other countries too. And so how many months per year do you like to slow travel generally?
I would say I'm gone now about 90%. Well, now I'm actually expatriating. So I plan to continue this lifestyle until the wheels fall off. Wow. But prior to this year, prior to COVID, I was gone about 80 to 90% of the time I was out of the country.
Wow. And so you're looking at expatriating. Can you explain what that means to the listeners?
Yeah. For me, I am going to seek my residency in Mexico, which will allow me to have all of the rights of a Mexican citizen with the exception of voting. It'll allow me to purchase property here. It'll allow me to have a driver's license and sort of all of the, I guess, the great parts of being able to live somewhere. I just won't have voting rights, but yeah, that's pretty much what I plan to do. It doesn't mean that I'm giving up my citizenship as a US citizen. It just means that I don't have to make visa runs anymore, and I'll be able to live in Mexico if I choose. So it may become a home base. Okay.
And so do you know where in Mexico you want to live yet?
I'm not sure yet. You know, I'm kind of floating around, and the way I met you, I was visiting Puerto Morelos. Right now, I'm currently living in Playa del Carmen, but I plan to sort of travel around different parts of Mexico, and I may use this as my address in the future.
That's great. I've been all over Mexico, and I can tell you it's a beautiful country full of great food and great people, and I've really enjoyed my time here, and I encourage you to explore Mexico because it's really a beautiful place, and So I'll say nothing more about that. But so tell us, what are some of the benefits maybe that you've experienced during your slow travels that were surprising to you in some way?
You know, I learned a lot about myself. I think that's one of the greatest assets to traveling and slow traveling is that, and I was a solo slow traveler as well. So I had to get out of my comfort zone in a lot of different places. I learned to live more like the locals. So I got a real cultural experience. And a lot of the things that I used to doubt about myself, I worked through, you know, like when I first set out, a lot of people were very fearful for me of going to certain places. You know, the media likes to say, oh, don't go there, it's not safe. And I found a lot of that wasn't true. I actually felt safer in a lot of places that I've traveled to than I do in the US. Yeah. You know, so it dispelled a lot of myths as well. And I think that was one of the great parts of slow traveling.
Wow. I couldn't have said it better myself. You're singing my song. So you said mostly you slow travel alone. Now that's great. So part of the time, once in a while, a friend will join you. Is that the idea? Or?
Yeah. When I in 2017, I backpacked solo across Southeast Asia, and I was gone for a year. And I had a couple of friends that came in and met me in different countries. So I had a friend who flew in and spent some time with me in Cambodia, about a month in Cambodia. Another friend backpacked with me in Thailand for a month. And I can tell you that it also changed their lives. I think that the way they see travel now is definitely different than the way it used to be.
Wow, that's great. So how do you remain safe as a single female traveler? Is it really handled any differently than managing safety in your home country, do you think?
Yeah, I think one of the things about traveling solo in other countries, it's really important, and it doesn't even matter if you're solo, even traveling as a group, it's really important to be mindful of local customs and cultural customs. For example, when I was traveling in India or in a Muslim country, if it's required for women to cover up, cover up. If it's required to cover your head, cover your head. It's really about respecting the local culture. And I think that's super important when we travel, that we leave our entitlement at home and just bring our passport and no expectations. You know, the more open you are to receiving those experiences, I think the more of a beautiful experience you'll actually have.
Wow, what a great representative of your home country you are. There's a lot of wisdom in that answer, and I've experienced all of that myself. So thanks for that. So what is a typical budget per month when you slow travel? I know it's going to vary between country, but do you have a budget you're trying to stay in pretty much, or how's that work?
I wish I was better at budgeting, to be honest with you. But I'll say that, you know, it does vary by country. When I was living in Thailand, I paid like 350 USD for an apartment, a studio apartment. Here in Playa, I'm spending much more than I anticipated. But I just learned after getting here that Quintana Roo is one of the more expensive states in Mexico. But I still try to keep it, for me, I'm keeping it under about 1,500 in terms of my travel expenses and living expenses. You can go higher or lower. It really depends on where you're trying to stay in your budget.
Right. That's great. So you're a mindfulness expert, and I love mindfulness. I try to be mindful the entire day in the Buddhist sense, and and often am able to. But there's some challenges in traveling, and so I wanted to ask you, how do you integrate your mindfulness practice into being the slow travel life?
I think one of the best parts about mindfulness is that it teaches you to be present. And so wherever I am, especially when I'm slow traveling, there's times where I may be challenged. I may be challenged by things moving slower than the pace that I'm used to, things not happening the way that I want to. And, you know, sometimes you just get challenged in different places because things just work differently. And I think that's when I have to remind myself to just be present. Just be grateful for where I am, that I'm having this amazing experience in this beautiful place, and really just taking the time to see all the beauty that's around me, because even in the most challenging places like India or Haiti, I can still find the beauty in those challenging moments. And I think that's the key to happiness.
That's great. I wasn't surprised at all. Once I lived in India for 3.5 years, and I wasn't surprised at all after living there to learn that Buddha woke up in India, because it is challenging to your senses. There's a lot of things happening all around you, and noises and things that you have no control over, and your mind can easily take over and create a lot of misery in your life. And so I wasn't surprised to hear that he that he was woke up in India. So great. So what advice do you have for others thinking of starting a slow travel life?
I think, you know, sometimes we have to just really get out of our own way, because a lot of times we'll have an idea or a dream to do something, but we will start to talk ourselves out of it. We'll start to think of all the things that make it seem like it's impossible. And really, it is possible, and it's easy. You just have to get out of your own way. So I would just say, just do it. Just take the leap. You don't have to have a certain amount of money in the bank. You know, you don't have to have a real solid plan. You'd be surprised how easy it is to go to a new country and establish yourself for a while and continue to move on. And if you're willing to let go of some of the luxuries of your Western life, then you will have an amazing, amazing experience, because you'll find out that we don't need so much stuff to be happy.
Wow, that's really great.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Shannon. So Shannon, why don't you tell us a little bit about, if you're comfortable telling us a little bit about some of the things you're working on now, and
Sure.
some of the things you have coming out that people could learn about.
I'm excited. I have a company called 𝐕𝐴𝐷, and you can find it at 𝐕𝐴𝐷.com. And it's a luxury wellness travel company. We are also going to be pivoting to just do unique experiences and small groups. And so even during this time of the pandemic, people are traveling, but we just have to travel in a much more safer way. And so we're making sure that your trip is insured, that you'll have COVID testing on arrival, COVID testing before you depart. And it will still allow you to live your life and do the things that you love most. And it's a wellness, as I said, a wellness travel company. So we're really here to support well-being through holistic means like Reiki, Ayurveda, yoga, mindfulness, just various modalities of healing. And so it really is to support your mind, body, and soul well-being.
And that's great. And so I'm going to put 𝐕𝐴𝐷 on the screen here so people can see how to spell it, and there'll also be a link below. That sounds great. People can investigate that. Anything else come to mind that you'd like to share?
Yeah, since I've been in Playa, I started a group. It's called Blackwell Good, and it is a very intentional community to support people of color, Black, Indigenous people of color in their wellness journey. What I found since being here in Playa, that there are many people who've come here who left the U.S. because we had such a crazy year last year. Last few years in the U.S., but a lot of people are here for healing. And so I created a community here. We're hoping that it'll become a global platform that will provide resources for everyone and anyone who wants to find holistic healing resources. So we got that going on with a group of expats that I connected with here. Great.
And how would someone find out more about that?
Right now it's a WhatsApp chat, but we're launching a Facebook group and an Instagram group. You can go ahead and sign up now, and you will see that we'll have content. We have a website coming soon, so we're really excited about that as well. Okay. And to reach out even to myself, you can find me at shannonamos.com, and you'll see all of the services that I provide that have to do with well-being as well.
Great. Well, thanks so much for taking time out of your travels to come here and tell your story. I was happy to meet you, and I'm sure my audience will be happy to hear your story too. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. I'm so happy I connected with you, and I know I'll see you out there again sometime soon.
You can bet on it. Take care, Shannon.
Okay, take care.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Thanks for listening. This is Dan of Vagabond Awake. Again, the YouTube channel for Vagabond Buddha. Please like, comment, or subscribe. And we have retired cheap reports all over the world. And come check out our membership. Thanks for watching my video. Have a great day. Click the link in the notes below this YouTube video to get a copy of all the resources described in this video and a free copy of my ebook, How I Fired My Boss and Traveled the World. And while you're there, check out our 80 retired cheap reports and the course that teaches you how to make money as you travel the world.